Hey guys, welcome to the retro farming series where we are very close to the moment of justice. I have a quick sip of soda and then we actually uh, go ahead and unfold this tether. Then we're going to see how it works. Um, I mean, this should our tractor should have enough horsepower. Yes, it does have it beat, so there shouldn't be much problem. Uh, Anyways, you guys can find this bad boy on the official mod hub. Um, it's made by someone whose name will probably appear on screen about now. So, I try to give sources as to where I get mods. Um, Should you ever decide that you actually want to try it yourselves, then I think you should get it. You like look because I'm just like this because I know how it works. Uh, Even before I started YouTube, I watched lots and lots of YouTubers um, who played the game, and usually what ended up happening all the time is that I have seen something that they were use, and then uh, suddenly the urge to own that specific equipment rose in me, and I just had to go ahead and put it in game and start to use it, provided I had access to said equipment. Usually that's not a big deal because uh, people who do YouTube, or people who play this game on YouTube, I would say, use publicly available mods. I know for a fact that Daggerwin goes out of his way to use things that are either custom made for him, but then it's something story specific for uh, the survival roleplay series, one stuff that I enjoy watching a lot, or it's actually available to the public. Well, he he has early access every now and again, but for the most part, those things that he has an early access to are things that get released later on to the public. So, and it's most of the time things like maps and objects. But other than that, I know for a fact that he only uses publicly available mods, and I remember that at one time uh, he actually replaced a combine uh, in game because it was coming from sources that weren't really clarified, and he he wanted to avoid trouble revolving around this. So yeah, that's something that I can stand by 100%. And I usually try to hold myself to this standard. Uh, One exception is when I actually uh, actually created a mod or something like that. Like I not created, sorry, that was the wrong word. Lots of backspaces. I convert a mod from one of the earlier iterations of the game. I don't create mods, and the primary reason why I don't release them is that I don't create them. Yes, so that being said, uh, I try to make sure that I only use publicly available mods. However, if necessity arises, I occasionally edit them. But then again, if I edit a mod for any given reason, then I won't release it. For the very reason that I'm not the creator, and I don't want to take credit for something that I didn't do. I'm not saying that I'm the perfect example, but you should be like me. Yeah. For example, it happens that I inject interactive control into a mod. There is an animation that is off, and I quickly fix it because it's like adding a few characters in the XML file, or a line or two. These are things that I can do. I wouldn't say that I pride myself upon these, but I think that is useful knowledge for me at least. And I think that uh, if you're playing this game, this is going to be a hot take. Oh my god, it's going to be on Twitter and everything like that. So if you're playing this game on a certain level, you should at the very least try to get some know-how as to how mods work and how can you quickly fix a few log errors and whatnot. That shouldn't be a problem. And these are all informations that are readily available and widely accessible on the internet. Yeah. Hey there, neighbor. You're you're actually going both directions and you're always carrying the same plow. I won't ever release that problem. It's the same guy with the same tractor and the same piece of implement over and over again. Another sip of soda. Yeah. As for the tether, overall it's very nice. Paint is already chipping, but that just adds to the cool factor on it. It does work, that is for sure. My choice of color is not the luckiest considering how it's not really matching my tractor. Then again, it's vanity. Uh, I sound like Rob, I feel like. Come on, I want that little piece deaded. Yeah, like so. Okay, so we actually hit that touch. That's fine. Yeah. So what's going to happen in this episode is that I do the tedding, and then I windrow all of it, um, and then I will have to let it for a while because yeah, I will have to play the waiting game until um, the attorney's office, that is the liaison between my boss and that is arranging stuff for me, make stuff happen. They have to source another tractor that actually can run the baler and the bale collector at the same time. Because I have some leased equipment lined up to actually load the bales, the trailers. And yes, we're going to use the two flatbeds that I have at the farm. I won't get another trailer just for now. Tough cookies. Also, we're trying new things here. Like, obviously, I have very determinate ideas as to how to run this farm, how to make it prosper, how to turn it into lucrative operation, just fun. But then again, there are always new methods that I want to try, and it doesn't hurt to learn new things every now and again, I think. So yeah, we're going to try out a uh, few interesting toys along the way. One of them is that bear collector. I uh, Actually I have played around with that Heston baler at one point. I also made a video on it. That was a fairly successful one, in no small part because of the the creator of that mod actually noticed that I made a video and they shared it on their Facebook for the modding. They are absolutely awesome. Yeah, so that's one of my rather successful videos. I think I will uh, put it on screen at the end of this one for your enjoyment. I may even link it in the description, who knows. So yeah, as I mentioned, I've played around with that. In fact, I've played around with that quite a bit ever since then. Um, but I never used a collector like that with it. But as I've been doing research as to what kind of equipment I want to run on this farm, because I do that, believe it or not, I actually spend hours and hours on scrolling through the internet to find out what were available technologies in the 80s on Hungarian farms, 70s and 80s that I can bring in as retro equipment. Um, so as I was running the research, I noticed that more often than not, those bale chutes were used with, in conjunction with these Heston balers over here in Hungary as well. I guess it was widely used on large farms in large scale operations, so it's only fair that. Oh, you see, there is a tendency that it, it lets slip species of the the crops on the or the forage on the ground through the space between wheels. Again, you see it does it actually quite often. Um, I guess it comes with the territory. It's an old piece of kit. Mishaps come every now and again. Yeah, so that is going to be something new. Um, and of course that means that we have to look for a different method of loading as well. And that actually involves me moving around bales with uh, some form of loading equipment. I don't want to spoil things, but I think it's going to be great show if I can make it work. That is, we'll see how it turns out. The equipment that I have my eyes on will be only leased. I cannot justify to keep anything like that equipment on that scale uh, around for the amount of use I have for it. But I think I will explain everything in detail once we get there. Um, Enough said for the time being. In fact, I think there is a cut in order to the point where I'm actually windrowing. Uh, Maybe I could work some magic. Uh, I think there is a trick that I've learned from Zach Johnson that I will now do. I've done it a few times before, so I know that I can do that. Ready for it? Here we go. So here we go, sometime later. As you guys can see, the windrowing is done. I figured showing off this windrower shouldn't be that big of a deal. In fact, I have did that. I have That was my bestest English. I have done that already. Um, there was a mod spotlight where I showcased this Swadro Baylor, not Baylor windrower. My mind is somewhere else. Anyways, the Baylor. My mind is on the Baylor, which is over here. Um, and I've already tested it, and it does work the way I was hoping for. Let me show you the first bunch that the bale collector has ejected. It's some distance away down here. So much more silent, far from the tractor, isn't it? But the sound of that tractor is to die for. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. I think this will be fairly easily stackable. It's not the best, but I can work with it. Yeah. Speaking of the tractor, as you guys can see, the tractor that I ended up with, thanks to my acquisitions expert, is the John Deere 4840, which is, to be honest, kind of a rarity here in Hungary. Um, for some reason, it didn't really took off. It just fell between the extremely I cannot speak today. It just fell between the extremely popular 30 series and then the 50 series, and it just really didn't sell as well. Not as many were imported as of the 30 series and the 50 series, as I said. But nonetheless, uh, the acquisitions expert managed to procure one for us, and it's absolutely good. And okay, so we should drop this bunch. Oh, that's not good. I didn't realize that there is that piece there ejected. Not good. Oh well. Also, maneuvering this bad boy is a doozy. But other than that, we're fine because the horsepower is just right. For some reason it doesn't work as well as with the first stack. That's very some. May happen that we did all this for nothing. Just doesn't want to work out the way I was hoping. And I'm thinking about drop the idea of using this field as a as a as a pasture entirely meadow. Now we're talking. This actually worked. There we go. Somewhat better. Also, how we doing on various supplies that the baler is using? We're doing fine. Okay. I think water is the one that is running out the quickest. Then again, it's fine because water is not the most expensive supply that we use. It's just that once I'm out of water, at this point I will have to return to the yard because I really have nothing to carry water. Okay, so cool. Let's dump. Again, come on, what's the matter? So not cool. I feel like it's sort of a hit or miss. And that one over there is the biggest miss on my part. Also, the reason why I didn't move the windrower back to the yard yet is this here. As you guys can see, this small part is not rowed up yet. I will do that quickly, probably once I'm done recording. then we're good to go with the baling. Here's hoping that we shall be able to do it without much of a problem. We should be. Well, please check. Except we're not free of hitches at this point. Yeah, once again, it just didn't work out. I think my technique is in need of some refining. That being said, we're right now at 16 bales. At least that is the amount that has left the baler itself. I think the 17th one is that has already landed on the collector, and then the 18th is just landing. Or I really don't know, because we should think in the multiplicates of 3, because I drop them in bunches of 3. Oh, hold on, we should be able to do all. Oh. Yeah, if that for some reason, if the tractor is standing in this general direction, and the baler as well, it's working well, more or less. In any other direction, you can see that this field is a triangle, and this is more or less the east-west orientation, while slightly slanted towards northeast. But in any other cases, it just didn't work out, and I don't see why is that. Seriously though, it's baffling. What are the options? That is probably for the window, yes? Yes, and the door. The tractor, I mean. And is the reset bale counter. Nah, there's no other option. Alright, so that's... It is what it is. We have to live with it, I guess. So now I'm seriously considering to change up my original plans. And even then I could still showcase some interesting machinery. I do have a few plan Bs. I will have to think about it. However, that doesn't change the fact that we are selling it to the dairy farm at Tótnánás. That's the name of the village. It's almost like where that dairy farm is situated. To be clear. They are already anticipating the bales. It's like winter stockpiling or whatnot. Or just generally. It's not none of my business. My business is that they want the bales, I can provide them, and they are paying for it. That's matters really. Everything else is just circumstantial at best. Okay, so we're full again. Yeah, I'm a bit salty because it kind of misfired on me. I think it's mostly my fault. Even the birds chirping cannot make me really happy. It's kind of half working. No. Oh, that's trouble. Big, big trouble. So that's just one. Okay. I messed up big time. Oh well. Anyways, I think I will finish this off camera as I usually do. That's how this section of the series works. I start something, you see how it works out, and then there is a cut, a magical cut, and yeah, it's all done. And you see how it panned out. It's going to be the same this time around as well. So there we go. It's baling with the Heston. I always say it in the Hungarian way. So it's baling with the Heston baler for you guys. and using the Parkland collector. Nice piece of kit. It just for some reason didn't really work out for not the baler, mind you. I use it on other places to great effect. Anyways, thank you guys for tagging along. About now, a few things should appear on the screen, like a subscribe button and videos and or playlists hand selected by me for your enjoyment. I do hope you guys click on them. If not, then it is what it is. If you do, I'm thankful. That being said, TTF.